up the hand so true, loyal until his friend goes number 2. During the heat of the game, it's clear he's a champ when all else disappears. Rally the team with a wink and a cheer. He's the leader that everyone fears. Quickly, it's a real heater. Once my friend, he's a locker room leader. In the chaos, he's the center, turning us into believers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Monday night. It is 7 p.m. And that means it is time once again for the Locker Room Breakdown. This is the Raw Perspective here at the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program and Turnbuckle Studios as we get ready for Monday Night Raw and the Raw Patrol coming up at 8 p.m. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is absolutely huge. The last time in Boston is now. And we will get to that in a little while. Yes, John Cena tonight makes his return home, but I digress. We had a wild show last week that really seems to have set the tone. There are some things that happened last week that I really don't agree with, that I'm not a big fan of. I got on them last week. I'm going to get on them again tonight when we get to the preview portion of the show. But let's go back to last week, ladies and gentlemen, and kick things off right with CM Punk's World Championship celebration. He came out to the ring thanking his wife, thanking the WWE Universe, thanking Jey Uso. And not necessarily issuing challenges, but stating there are a number of competitors that he would like to face during his championship reign, including AJ Styles, Dominic Mysterio, John Cena. He did, however, mention that the Vision was a threat and told Seth Rollins that when he comes back from injury, if he gets in his business, he'll put him back on the shelf. Fantastic promo from Punk. He was, as always, pure gold on the mic. The one man nobody had on our bingo cards for interrupting this was Logan Paul, the Maverick. This, I don't know if this was Punk playing it up, but really saying, no, anyone but you. I'm not willing to fight you. You don't deserve it. Logan Paul ran down his resume saying, I've been in the ring with the John Cenas, the Roman Reigns, the Gunthers, the AJ Styles, who I beat at WrestleMania, and ran off a resume that was absolutely stacked. They then got interrupted by the Vision, Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed, who said, you know what, we've given you 2 weeks of lenience. We didn't get involved at Saturday night's main event, but Braun Breaker said he's coming for the title, even though Bronson Reed is the one who has really been carrying the weight for the Vision. The man that's beaten Roman Reigns twice, the man that has been doing it all, other than delivering a spear. The weight of the Vision falls on Bronson Reed. And I don't know if this is going to play out, how this is going to play out in the long run. We know it is going to eventually run its course. And even Logan Paul said, you know what? Or the Vision told him, you know what? You can stay and fight or you can get out of my ring. Logan Paul made the choice to leave, but was blocked and stopped from leaving by Breaker, by Reed, who then put him down and went in to attack CM Punk. Logan Paul got up and proceeded to start walking up the ramp, only to stop more than once and then finally go back into the ring and take the beat down that CM Punk had already taken, all for Punk to come back, go and get a chair, come back, and make the save. No, we did not see Jey Uso in that segment, which did and didn't surprise me because he is that baby face. He is over. But is this where we're going? And is this how we're building to get the vision into War Games? We will find out a little bit later. This segment, for me, ran a little bit long coming in at the first 26 minutes of the show. And you only have a 2.5 hour show. So there's 1/5 of your show gone. They could have knocked easily 6 to 10 minutes off of this and gotten the same thing across. And I would have been happy. But this was huge. This was an amazing segment. And what came from this, we'll discuss that in a little bit. Up next, we had a match that I wasn't so sure on. Stephanie Vaquer and Nikki Bella taking on the Judgment Day's Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. And again, I'm not so sure about Nikki Bella. I was glad, I said it last week, it's time they start getting her involved more on a weekly basis as opposed to one match here, one match there, and some backstage appearances over a 2-month span. And you could see it. She actually had a little more pep to her step, a little bit more to go in that match. But it still wasn't enough. Stephanie Vaquer lost, but it was, I believe, Nikki Bella that ate the pin. Sorry, I'm just trying to find that out here. Yes, Nikki Bella did eat the pin off of Pop Rocks from Roxanne Perez. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this was actually a fantastic match, and I was really surprised and impressed with Nikki Bella and her effort. Yes, this match was absolutely carried by Raquel, Roxanne, and Stephanie, but Nikki Bella really brought it last week. And I can't be upset about that, ladies and gentlemen. However, I think it's time you get Nikki focused on something a little bit more than being an afterthought and thrown into a wide array of programs. Capitalize on her name, capitalize on her star power. Yes, I know she does still have star power. The Bella name has a lot of star power, especially in WWE, the Bella Army, Bella Nation, whatever you want to call it. But this is something that they need to do. And I'm not going to be upset if you have Nikki wrestling enhancement talent. I'm not going to be upset if you have somebody from NXT, a call up from NXT, come up to wrestle Nikki. I apologize. I'm not going to be upset if you have somebody from NXT come up to wrestle Nikki. not only for the NXT superstar to get their main roster experience, but for Nikki to get herself going as well. And you can build something out of that, whether it's Nikki mentoring or a storyline, a rivalry, something. Just do something more to capitalize on Nikki Bella. But I really, really need to give all the credit in the world for this match to Raquel Rodriguez. Everyone knows how big of a fan I am of Roxanne Perez. This was the Raquel Rodriguez show. I won't call it her coming out party because she's already had that and she has come so far since she returned last year at Survivor Series. I am excited to see what this holds for Raquel. She did it all. She took the shots. She delivered the shots. She was the one that put Stephanie Vicaire out. And ladies and gentlemen, I've said it, the future of the women's division is Roxanne Perez and Lyra Valkyria. The present of the women's division is Raquel Rodriguez. And we will find out. Raquel does have something huge going on tonight. And we will discuss that in the preview section of the show. Perhaps the most intriguing match of the night involved two luchadors, so to speak. As everybody's new favorite luchador, El Grande Americano, your walking Starbucks order, went one-on-one with Penta. The funny thing is that El Grande received a huge pop and a huge ovation, even being flanked by Los Americanos, Rayo, and Bravo. And this match was absolutely fantastic. I mean, I don't know. I can't really give this one my match of the night because that one does come up in a little while, but highly, highly entertaining. A lot of athletics. Rayo and Bravo did get involved. They did cause a distraction. We were wondering how they were going to factor into the match, if Rusev was going to come out and neutralize them. Rusev had nothing to do with the match, and I'm okay with that. But this match really was a babyface versus babyface match, even though El Grande did try to cheat and slide that lead plate into his mask to headbutt Penta. Penta actually caught him with a kick to that lead plate instead. But then Penta did hit the destroyer, and I will not call it the Mexican destroyer. I will not call it the Canadian destroyer. He hit the destroyer, that flip pile driver, to pick up the victory. But again, ladies and gentlemen, just a fantastic match. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I know that last week it took place from New Mexico, so you did have a lot of Hispanics and Latin Americans in the crowd, which was probably what helped really propel this match. There was an excitement and an electricity behind this match that hasn't been felt in quite some time. We did then get a promo video hyping up the Kabuki Warriors. And again, we will get into them a little bit later on because we all know I am not a huge fan of the Kabuki Warriors. And quite frankly, I just want Asuka to disappear. We then got a promo from Dirty Dom as the crowd was singing Dirty Dom, Dirty Dom. Your Mega Continental Champion. Thank you, Chris Parrish. Yes, I'm going to give you credit for that, but I'm going to use that term here on the LRB. All for him to be interrupted by the returning Rey Mysterio Jr., who came back sporting a mustache of his own. Rey got into Dom's face saying, why do you call yourself the king of the luchadors? That's disrespectful, and went on to list a number of legendary luchadors. El Santo, Eddie. Dom then told Rey to keep his father's name out of it. And Rey said, as long as I'm here, you will never be the greatest Mysterio or the greatest luchador of all time. Dom did go for a sneak attack. Rey blocked, countered it, and did hit a 619 on Dom. Again, ladies and gentlemen, as much as I am tired of it, and I do not want to see a family versus family, father versus son, brother versus brother, I really don't. This was something we discussed last week. And I really hope that this doesn't take place at Survivor Series. I'm hoping that they will wait and do it next summer at AAA Triple Mania title versus mask. This was, again, absolutely huge for the Hispanic and Latin American crowd in the audience because of Rey's history, because of Dom, because of the location. This was absolutely huge. I apologize for that, as I just had a bike go rumbling by my house. We don't, and I know that you've got Survivor Series coming up in the hometown of Rey and Dom in San Diego, but I really don't need to see that match now. I really don't. And I hope we're going to find something a little different for Dom at Survivor Series. Becky Lynch, in a bit of a surprise moment, came out, grabbed the microphone, and stood on the announce desk saying, I had one bad night and I got sent home for a week. My husband is at home on the shelf and can't do a whole lot right now because of his shoulder. They're telling me I needed to cool off and got sent home for a week, but I'm cool. I'm cool. We got her usual, I'm not the one who's saying it. Others have said it. Sports Illustrated, Bleacher Report. Nobody cares. She then did proceed to call out Maxine Dupree again, saying, you have to be more than lucky to be good. You have to be good to be lucky. We know that Maxine has an upcoming Women's Intercontinental Championship match. We're just not sure when that's going to be. I know Maxine wants to get a little more prepped for it, which is why I don't think we saw her last week. And maybe she's off training with somebody. Maybe she's got somebody coming for backup. I don't know. but I am intrigued to see where this Maxine Becky Lynch situation goes. Do I think that Maxine Dupree is going to win the Intercontinental Championship? No, I don't. I've said it before. Maxine is the most improved women's wrestler since Liv Morgan, but she is not at that level yet. She is not ready for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Honestly, I think if you want to get Maxine a belt, let her go to NXT and work in the crossover. Let her go and win the NXT Women's North American Championship, or have her go over to TNA and let her win the Knockouts Championship. Then you can get a belt on her. You can see how she does with it and progress from there. And I'm not calling it a demotion for Maxine. No, I think this is a way to get her that true litmus test and see how she carries herself, what she can do as a champion, instead of just rushing and putting the Intercontinental belt somewhere it really shouldn't be. Now, I don't believe Becky Lynch should carry it either, because for me, it's just an aesthetic for Becky. I know we're probably all waiting for AJ Lee's return and when we're going to get that confrontation. Quite frankly, too much time has passed now. I don't think you need to go back to that. And I am okay. You can bring AJ Lee back when she's ready, and she doesn't have to go right into it with Becky Lynch. She can go and pick somebody else. She can feud with somebody else. She doesn't even have to come back now as, CM Punk's wife and tag team partner. She can just come back as AJ Lee, the Hispanic chick from New Jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, if I've said it before, and I will say it again, the women absolutely set the bar on Raw. Our next match was absolutely that. For me, this became the match of the night. As much as I am tired of the Kabuki Warriors, specifically Asuka, the Kabuki Warriors versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria absolutely tore the house down. This match was incredible. This was, for me, the match of the night, though there was another tag team match. This was a very tag team heavy show last week, ladies and gentlemen. But this match, for me, absolutely stole the show. You've had the history from Damage Control with Bayley, Asuka, and Kyrie. You had that play a prevalent factor. You had the fact that the Kabuki Warriors cost Bayley and Lyra the previous week, or attacked them after the Tag Team Championship match the previous week, along with Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. You had it all. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a great direction and a great point of contention for Lyra Valkyria. For me, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this was the match of the night, though the Kabuki Warriors did win. But I can't be mad about it. I really, really can't. Asuka did a little bit more than her usual hip attacks. She actually competed. But for me, for the Kabuki Warriors, it is Kairi Sane. For me, she is the face of that tag team. And I don't mean babyface. She is the one who leads it. She is the one who directs all the traffic. Everything for the Kabuki Warriors, in my opinion, flows through Kairi Sane and her abilities. Hard hitting, fast paced. There were points when this match looked like a little bit of a cluster. I'm not going to lie. And that's something that I'm glad to see WWE has gotten away from, is the cluster and everybody trying to hit their finisher in a tag team match. But it did break down. The ref had a hard time keeping control. But this, ladies and gentlemen, was a match. This match stole the show. And I apologize, I didn't have it on the comments. Mr. Best coming in here saying, good afternoon. He means evening. Thinks I secretly love the Kabuki Warriors. I like the Kabuki Warriors. I'm tired of Asuka. As well, Mr. Best, I'm going to assume thinking Ray and Dom will take place at Survivor Series. I really hope not. We know that. And he thinks Becky will end up wrestling Jessica Carr, the ref, at some point, which is entirely possible. After the match, even though the Kabuki Warriors won, they proceeded to beat down Bayley and Lyra until your women's tag team champions, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, came out to make the save. And they stood tall. They did try and help up Bayley and Lyra as well, who accepted, so that there is no hard feelings. There's no animosity there. Afterwards, we went backstage because we had Dom then talking to the Judgment Day, to his brothers, Finn Balor and JD McDonough. And they told him, no, you've got to deal with these situations yourself. But Roxanne stepped up and said, you know what? We've got you. So we don't know. I know that this is sort of seeming to the point of Dom doing to Liv what he did to Rhea. I don't need to see that again, but let's leave it. Then we move on, ladies and gentlemen. I've already talked about AJ Lee, the female competitor. Let's talk about Dragon Styles, the tag team. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee defended their newly won World Tag Team Championships against the Judgment Day in a rematch from 2 weeks prior. And ladies and gentlemen, again, another match that could have absolutely stolen the show. We did see the team of Dragon Styles retain, but again, you've got guys with the caliber of JD McDonough, Finn Balor, AJ Styles, and Dragon Lee all in that ring. You wouldn't expect anything less. This was a matchup for the ages, ladies and gentlemen, and I could watch this match again tonight if we were to get it, and I would be quite all right with it. Yes, the Judgment Day made the attack before the bell even rang, before they had their jackets off. Great on the Judgment Day. Let's make sure we're getting them when they're not ready, when they're not expecting us. I love it. This match was a back and forth affair. Hot tags on each side. The Judgment Day really did take control and show why they are the former tag team champions. The only reason they'd lost the belts was because they just weren't defending them. And I'm okay with AJ and Dragon having them. They've already stepped up and defended the belts more than the Judgment Day did. Well, to a point. That was the Judgment Day's second defense a couple of weeks ago against them. But this match, ladies and gentlemen, again, absolutely incredible. And I'm interested to see where we go from here now for the Judgment Day and what are they going to do now that they don't have the tag team champions. Now that they don't have any gold except for the Mega Continental Championship on Dom's waist, and they seem to be slowly trying to remove him from the group. Then we had our main event tag team match, ladies and gentlemen. And this one came about as a result of the opening promo. But we had, and I thought for sure we were going to get CM Punk teaming with Logan Paul, but no. We got CM Punk and Jey Uso teaming up to take on the Vision. That was their opportunity to shake hands. Both men thanked each other for the match at Saturday night's main event. And they went to war with the Vision. This match really didn't have a whole lot of time. And I think that's because you lost that extra 10 minutes in that opening promo being 26 minutes instead of 15 or 16. This match was just a brawl, just an absolute fight. There was no winner. This match did go to a double count out. But again, it was everybody hitting. This was the match where everybody hit their finishers. Bronson hit the Tsunami. Punk hit a GTS. Jey hit the Uso splash. Breaker hits the spear. This match just became that knockdown, drag out fight. But it was after the match, which ended in a double count out. And the Vision were holding up CM Punk, waiting. And Logan Paul comes to make the save. As he's standing there, staring down the Vision, brass knucks on his hand all of a sudden. Of course, he turns and blindsides CM Punk and proceeded to hand the brass knucks to Paul Heyman. Does this mean what I think it means? Is Logan Paul a part of the Vision? Or is he just part of the Vision for now? We saw him do this. Said it's all been a mask. Is Logan Paul the new leader of the Vision? Is this where we're going? And I mean, if he is, I absolutely love it. Logan Paul is an amazing competitor, great on the mic, but for him to have the Oracle, for him to have a Paul Heyman beside him now is only going to skyrocket him and his stock. Very, very intriguing way to end off the show last week. We've got the review portion coming up. But ladies and gentlemen, first of all, take a look at everything we have going on here at the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thursday we go TNA when we brace for Impact at 7:55 p.m. Eastern. Friday we secure all details as we answer the call for the SmackDown security detail at 8 p.m. Eastern. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Eastern. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
A Turnbuckle Affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, video games, or something else, then Turnbuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today, because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
The Turnbuckle Studios store is open for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the merch and represent the best from the shows you watch on a weekly basis. Multiple styles to choose from with over 10 products available. Don't get left out and pick up all your favorites today. Find us at carlcarafel.redbubble.com.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you have ever wanted your break in podcasting, content creation, potential collaboration, or just help us out behind the scenes, turnbucklestudios.org is the place to be. Go to the host section and meet the team. Chris Best, Chris Parrish, Bubba Duke, myself, and of course, Carl Carafel. Watch all of our latest weekly episodic shows, including this one, which will be up later tonight. Go to turnbucklestudios.org/join, where you can send us your credentials, tell us how you can help us, how we can help you, and then we can sit down collectively and figure out the best fit. Go to turnbucklestudios.org/shop and go to carlcarafel.redbubble.com. All of the proceeds go back into our studios so we can bring you a better viewing experience. You see the code scrolling on the ticker, but also just scan that QR code right there in the top left-hand corner. That will take you straight to turnbucklestudios.org. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on to tonight. The last time in Boston is now. We are going to get John Cena in his hometown. From my understanding, he is opening the show. This is his final Raw, his final WWE appearance in Boston as an active superstar. And as well, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the last time is now tournament begins. 16 men between Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and elsewhere will compete to see who becomes John Cena's final opponent at Saturday night's main event, December 13th. Two absolutely huge matches to open this tournament. The King of Strong Style, Shinsuke Nakamura, makes the trek from SmackDown over to Raw to go one-on-one with the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus, in a first-round matchup in this tournament. This is going to be a hard-hitting, hard-striking affair. Where do I see it going? I've long been saying it, and I know a lot of people don't like the idea. This is where I want John Cena to face Dom at Survivor Series, win the Intercontinental Championship, and have Sheamus win the tournament to drop it to him. And that way, both John and Sheamus get their Intercontinental Championship runs, being the one belt that they have never held. I am going to take Shinsuke, even though he's got his issues with the MFTs, and they could play a very, very big factor in this. But I am going to take Shinsuke for the win in this match. In another first round matchup, you want to talk about hard hitting? You don't have to look any further than Damian Priest, who makes his return to Raw, versus Rusev. The man who last week said, in order for him to truly become the Redeemer, he has to win this tournament and avenge his greatest loss and be the guy to retire John Cena. And ladies and gentlemen, I have had Rusev picked as my guy for that last match and the guy to retire John Cena. This match is only going to add more fuel to Rusev's fire. And again, ladies and gentlemen, Damian Priest has his own issues over on SmackDown with Aleister Black and Zelina. And I wouldn't be surprised to see that play a pivotal factor in this. So I am going to go with Rusev to crush Damian Priest here tonight. I said it earlier, Raquel Rodriguez is the now of the women's division. The future is in Roxanne and Lyra. Roxanne has the opportunity to really make her mark when she challenges La Primera, Stephanie Vaquer, for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship tonight on Raw. This is going to be, in my estimation, the match of the night. And I wouldn't put it past a world title change. There is a lot going on. La Primera, she's got Nikki Bella in her corner, but after last week's loss, Nikki is frustrated. And I know Stephanie Vaquer did not blame her, but it also wouldn't surprise me if we see Nikki's frustration boil over. You've got Roxanne Perez in the corner of Raquel, and that would be absolutely huge. As well, I think we could see, though highly unlikely, we could see the potential return of Liv Morgan coming in to make sure that her girl, her best friend, Raquel, walks out as your women's world heavyweight champion. At the same time, you cannot discount Io Sky coming out to help Stephanie Vaquer. Although she's got a broken nose and an orbital bone injury, I wouldn't be surprised to see Rhea Ripley make an appearance in this situation. There are so many different ways that this can all play out. You could go to the double DQ. You could go to the countout. You could see La Primera win the match via DQ, but that's not the way she's going to want to do it. I do believe that Stephanie Vaquer is going to retain the title tonight, But this is going to be, I think, the match of the night and the match that steals the show. I've said it earlier. I've said it before. I've said it earlier tonight, and I'm going to say it again. Raquel and Stephanie, the women set the bar. And our next tag team match, I wouldn't expect any less. Although I'm tired of them, and quite frankly, I think they still need to do a little bit more to earn this. We do have the Kabuki Warriors taking on Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss for the Women's Tag Team Championships. The Kabuki Warriors really have a lot of momentum based on everything that they have done over the last few weeks. But again, I would not be surprised to see Bayley and Lyra step up to back up Charlotte and Alexa in this situation. I wouldn't be surprised to see Io Sky step up in this situation. So I am going to stick with your still Women's World Tag Team Champions, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. We are going to hear from CM Punk tonight as well. This is very, very interesting. I read something or I saw something last night, and I don't know how true it is. This may have just been speculation. And I wouldn't put it past. You know what? I'm not even going to get into that because I really don't want to see the curse of the concussion cost CM Punk the World Heavyweight Championship again so quickly. But CM Punk is expected to be there to address the situation from Logan Paul and the Vision. And what does this mean? Is Logan Paul a part of the Vision? Are we this where we're going to get our answer? And I really hope we do. And I'm going to say, for one, I do hope that Logan Paul is part of the Vision, because that is what is going to really push him to that next stratosphere. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all for now. Please remember, the world is better with you in it. I'm getting ready to head over to the Raw Patrol at the Turnbuckle Studios YouTube page. You can join me there. Ladies and gentlemen, good night. Good luck.
In the locker room, a guy you'll find loves bad hockey, teams can't deny. His best friend to shut the hand so true, loyal until his friend goes number 2. During the heat of the game, it's clear he's a champ when all else disappears. Rally the team with a wink and a cheer. He's the leader that everyone fears. Quickly, it's a real heater. Once my friend, he's a locker